this happens. Actually, it never happens. But I was just gifted for free this bicycle. Where to put it together. We use it for a donation for anybody that likes to take in bike ride locally. We'll be able to have something if we travel for additions. Put it together. This is what you see when you get into the box. Got some nice fenders. So we're going to slide this all out and so we don't have any scratches. I'm not going to cut the box open any further because I want to just get rid of this box in one piece. And that says you need an adjustable wrench, open end wrenches 10 through 17 millimeter, Phillips and standard if it's a flat tip or slotted, Allen hex head wrenches 5 and 6 millimeter. Inside the box is the instructions for the assembly, and this is the seat. I don't know if there's bolts that come with it or not. There's not. Okay. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to cut all these zip ties off. That's cool, it's got a little white chain. This is a single gear bike, so it's not a multi-speed. It's a cruiser bike meant for slow speed. So I'm going to get zip ties cut off and start assembling this. We'll do it step by step. So I skipped ahead. Just to start the seat assembly, I used the number 14 metric wrench and I loosened the bolts up in order to get the seat just set into the top rest there. That way I can get that out of the way, and then we'll continue from there on to the rest of the assembly for the video of the bicycle. It's very straightforward. You loosen this up and you move the bar however you feel like it, forward and frontward, and it tightens down. You could probably use a ratchet socket for this instead of an open wrench. It doesn't make any sense to me to have this way. There we go. Nice wide seat for anybody's nice wide bottom. And this I'm just going to stick in the hole right here for now. I'll assemble that part later. Just continue on with the instructions. In the front of your bicycle, you'll see a screw and a nut. And you'll need a number 10 wrench, and a nut on the back side, and a Phillips or cross tip, however you want to say it, to the front. And we're going to take this screw and nut off in order to take and put the fender on. Again, it's just a matter of loosening it up. You'll be able to just tighten the screw. Take care that you don't lose any washers that might be there. There is 2 washers in the front here. Now I can't really tell what you can and can't see in the video, but we're going to just do it this way. Together, this fender needs to be in the front of steering column here. And when I do that, put the bolt back through. And your hardest part is finding the hole. There we go. And then the nut. And to verify that I did this right, I will read the instruction manual real quick. I believe I have already done this right. If it was beneficial for you to take and flip this upside down, do so. If you're inside of a house and you're not concerned about the grass getting onto your seat. Okay, I verified that that was in the right orientation, and then we're going to take and screw this on. Apologize for anybody's lawnmower noise in the back. You know, it happens. People have to mow. It's lucky to be in a noise-free environment. There. Now that's done. See the little plastic piece that attaches where the tire would have been. I just removed it. I'm going to put the tire on next, or we're going to follow the rest of the instructions actually. Yep, the next would be the tire. Front tire has these little nuts here, plastic pieces, and you're going to pull them off. Take note of any nuts and stuff that you have here. You don't want to lose that whatsoever. This uses the number 15 millimeter. I'm going to use it on a ratchet. I'm not going to use the open box sockets. That was kind of dumb. I've loosened the nuts up enough that I'll be able to take and drop it right onto the fork. It looks like I need to tighten the guard a little bit more and move the mud flap out of my way. Yeah. Now, the tire itself has a spot on here. There is a hole that this washer has to fit into. Not sure if you're able to see what I just did, but I just loosened the nut up enough that I am able to take and twist that and move it to the area where I need to. If not, I'll take and redo this again, just for clarification. Here's the nut. Here's that washer I was talking about. There's a hole right here. And we're just going to sit it in that position. And we'll do that for the other side as well. Let's loosen up so that it'll be able to get into that. Once it drops into the hole, you'll be able to take and tighten it. Now there's a little screw on the front here for the bracket for the mud flap. You'll see it's nice and bright and shiny silver. It's the only thing here. And it might have been torqued on too much that you won't be able to use just your regular Phillips or a regular open box that you might have to use to ratchet. You have to take this all the way off in order to take and put it in the hole. And we do this for both sides. I figured I'd do the front tire first and everything that correlates with it. And then I'll move on to whatever else as we go along. And we'll follow through the book, make sure I'm still going through the right order. Alright. There's the hole here. And we just have to just feed it into the hole and screw it in on both sides. It's pretty simple and straightforward. Torque it down a little bit with the wrench. Do the same for this side. This seems a little loose. We'll take and tighten it down too. There we go. Now the instructions say you're supposed to spin the wheel and make sure it's centered. And if it's not centered, then you're supposed to loosen it up. Well, being that there's no air into it, you can see that they might have a little wobble in it, but I think that's just from the rubber itself. Or it's just poor quality of a bike. It will have a little bit of a wobble, and it doesn't have anything to do with that. The next section under the bike talks about the kickstand, which the kickstand on this one was already assembled, so we can bypass that. They have some that have the quick releases for the tires. This manual here is a multi-use manual for a lot of things. So since we don't have to worry about the kickstand on this one, we'll skip on to the next. The next is the pedal. You have left and right. So let's get started on it, and I'll find the tools that might be needed for that. You have left and you have right. So I'm using a number 17 wrench. And then we'll feed it into the hole manually. feed, I mean to thread it in. We're going to go counterclockwise for this. And it's gotten into some tape. It might be better if you had the bicycle sitting on the seat at this point. Go upside down. And there you be. We'll do that for the other side. Should be pretty straightforward on how to do this. Right side we will do clockwise rotation for tightening the thread. I just want to give it a little there we go. I'm happy with that. Snug it up a little bit. That's how you put your foot pedals on. Next it says to take and install the handlebar. And for the handlebar it says to remove the plastic package material covering the expander wedge, which at the very bottom there's a little nub here, and that's the expander wedge they're talking about. They want you to take and remove this somehow. Probably will have to get a screwdriver and give it a shove. There we go. Expander wedge is now loose. And here's where they want you to have your Allen wrench screw, or your number 6, in order to tighten the expander part here inside. That's where that correlates in. So I will have to find one. In the meanwhile, we'll take and stick this in there where it says to do. And might have to give it a few left taps. I don't know. I'm just going to physically loosen this up here, spread the threads, get that down below. There we go. That's what we needed to do. And I'm going to guess that's what they say to do. Remove the plastic, loosen the stem expander bolt, like I just did, if necessary, so the wedge is nut free is in line with the stem body. Insert the stem into the head of the tube past the minimum insertion line indicated on the stem. So the stem up here has a minimum line that you're supposed to do. It's right here. They have markings and indications. So and it would be like that. So we'll have to take and get an Allen wrench for that size and tighten it in. Okay, so I'm gonna put it in here, and I'm gonna make it align it with the front tire and just tighten it. And I'll adjust it just real quick and see if it's aligned. It doesn't look perfect. Just square it up here at the beginning. Now if you need to loosen up your handlebar to make it more for your taste, there's 2 screws here at the top that you'll loosen up, and that'll get to that bolt. I didn't figure I'd need to take and explain this, but it's just pretty self-explanatory. You need to just take and loosen this up here and adjust this to whatever height you like, and then tighten it back. It mentions to take and pay attention to the direction of the fork and make sure it's not the opposite direction. I didn't think that somebody might have to take and know which direction the fork would be, the forward, and how it would be in reverse. But this would be in the forward direction. So that's why I want you to take and put it opposite. It may make the riding of this bicycle path difficult for you. So just keep that in mind, that it needs to be in this shape, in this direction. We're at the next stage where they talk about the bicycle seat, which I already have put in. And they have a minimum distance of what their suggestion for you to do. And I'm looking for that line. There's a line right here to slide it up inside and down. So, seems a little bit high, but you make it fit however you need to sit. That's the way I always say. And you won't know until you truly mount the bike itself. Once you get it happy and where you're at, then you can take and, tighten it and the claps will fold forward. I'll adjust that when I need to. I think the last thing that's on this bicycle, other than reflectors, to making sure that they're in the right proper direction, facing outward, you can loosen with the Phillips in the front as well. It's to take and press these on the fender itself, which should be making sure that it's tight. For whatever goofy reason, they decided they wanted to do Phillips in the front. They used Allen in the back. Why don't you just do the same bolts? That's kind of goofy. So we'll have to get the Allen screw for that. I believe it's number 5, and really I have to go fit that one. Thankfully this was pretty loose on one side. The front side, the first one that I did, was really tight. Doesn't take much skill to take and loosen a screw. You never know what somebody might need help with. There's 2 screw holes here, and I'm not sure exactly why. That's a different assembly for something else that they were able to sell in a different package for the bike. That seems pretty good, nice and tight. I'm not really concerned. Okay, other than straightening out my reflectors for this particular bike, I think we are now finished assembling, and we will be able to take and go for a joyride. But this is a single speed. It does not have any brake caliper whatsoever. You don't have to do anything for the rest of the bike whatsoever. We are done. Unless you want to put your drink thing on. I wish we can do that. It uses the same number 5, I believe. And we'll do that. use these two little screws here. A little bit tight. Very generic mounting holes for this, and I say that because there's two holes here, so they must have multiple uses for different bicycles. For everyday use, for small, for a small jog in the park, around the block, whatever, this would be pretty awesome. A little bike here. I think it's around $200 from Walmart. So it's not that bad in price, really. Somewhat affordable to most people. 29 inches for the tires. That's pretty much all that's left for assembling. I'm going to take and fix my handlebars and reflectors as needed, and we'll get it on the road. We'll see you then. Lest I forget about this, you need to inflate your tires from 70 psi to 95. So don't forget to use the app before you get on the bike itself. So we're going to inflate the tire to about 70 psi. Since inflate to 40 psi, so the book is wrong. Inflate it to 40. Generally, I just use a, let's go how tight it is, rule. Let's check the pressure. That says 20, it says 25. So we're going to put the air in these tires here and we'll get going. Let's see if the tires came better for the little wobble thing. Not really. And I don't think that really has anything to do with just the tire itself not being seated correctly. Bicycle has a nice wide seat, nice wide handlebars. As you can tell, it's massively big. It's stable enough that I'd be able to take and ride it with no hand. Yeah. And no problem. Has the old-fashioned foot brake with no handle brakes, 1 speed. That's the cruiser bike. And cruise. That's my tutorial on how to take and put it together. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Have fun.